Good evening, Mr. Pauly.
Welcome to the Crucible Podcast. Hello, Husky. What's shaking, buddy?
It's shaking. Life's good, man.
I could go for some shake and bake. Check
I
it
like
out.
that little
Michigan.
sticker you got there. Look at
Michigan. Where am I at? See, I'm looking at myself backwards. Right there. Yup. Voted today. That's something you got to do around these parts. I was voted number 146 in my small little community.
No kidding.
And they said that that's very, very low, which is typical for, these type of primaries. But I wish I'd have seen more. I thought for sure it'd be up in almost 300s, but it wasn't. 146. Thank you, Minden Township.
Every vote counts, man.
They had pizza and everything there. I didn't get a piece.
Oh, dang. I would have gone, man. No, so I was actually, for the viewers, for the listeners, I was talking to Pauly before we got on. I had registered libertarian, I don't know, maybe like 6-7 years ago, just because I like some of the principles that they got. But the issue that I have is that I don't get to vote for any primaries because there's never libertarians that are running. There's not enough of them, I guess. It's such a small party. So
sure.
Is what it is. So I kind of get bummed out because I'm like, oh man, I would really like to, see X, Y, and Z in the runnings for president, but they're not in my party, so maybe I need to switch.
And these ones are kind of goofy. And realistically, okay, so here in Michigan, they hand you the slip you fill out before you go get your actual ballot. And at the bottom of it, you fill out your name, address, sign your life away. It says you get a choice of 3 ballots because in our township, there is 4 different millages up for renewal, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get a ballot that says you're voting Democrat. You can get a ballot that says you're voting Republican, or you can get a ballot that says you're not voting for any of that. You're just here to vote for the millages this go around. Obviously, next go around, you just get handed a ballot and you do what you got to do. So yeah, that's where we're at here. Welcome.
Right on, man.
Welcome.
Well, guys, stick around to the end. We're going to talk about some giveaway stuff. Ooh. As always. Ooh. So we got that good giveaway going on.
Those new watchers out there don't know that as always. You new watchers,
that's true.
Appreciate you. We appreciate you. And our frequent flyers, we appreciate you even more.
So we do have a big giveaway, but we're going to talk about that at the end. Pauly, today's show. I want to talk. You mentioned something to me in text earlier today, and I want to kind of unpack that a little bit. We're talking about
hold on, back it up. We're not talking about
shady.
We're not talking about my okay, so it's the shady
stuff.
Right.
not
I just
your.
Want to make sure
you can do whatever you want on your off time, man. Make that money, but only coins, right? So right. No, this is
search me
only Germania. So guys, this is we're going to talk a little bit about scammers, about the dark side of precious metals when we got people who are lurking in the weeds, right? The snakes in the grass. Waiting to prey on the innocent.
Like that. I think that's the face. That's the face they'd make. Yeah, dude. So I sent you a message saying, and I was going to send you a bunch of screenshots, but I didn't because I can't get to the bottom of it. I mean, I think I've gotten to the bottom of it. So without mentioning any names, just this afternoon when I texted you, I said, someone's getting accused of being a scammer. And then the other person who is making the accusations is calling the other person a scammer. And so I've got one side of the story, right? And I don't know either of these people whatsoever. One reached out to me and said, hey, do you know Joe Schmo Stacker on Instagram? But it's not Joe Schmo Stacker. It's actually a well-known name. Deals with precious metals, right? Silver, gold, bars, coins, rounds, jewelry, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And the story goes, this person sent 3 other packages of jewelry to this buyer, which is buyer, reseller, whatever. Everything was cool. Payment came through. Everything's fine. They send a 4th package, and now the buyer is saying that this stuff is fake and instantly calls them out as a scammer. That's the story I got, right? So I reach out to the potential buyer, and I'm getting a whole different side of the story from the person who sent the goods to the buyer, right?
Hmm.
That I've tried to contact this person multiple times. I've been getting the runaround. Yes, they sent me back some of the money, but I'm not sending this fake stuff back to them so they can continue to do this again. Long story short, I still haven't reached out to the original person that reached out to me, but I think it's a matter of somebody was selling stuff that they thought was real, because the person
Okay.
that getting called out isn't that type of person as far as I've known, and I've been in the community for quite a few years, and this person has been in the community for quite a few years. When I say community, I mean like YouTube, in the auctions, buying in the auctions. It's a familiar name. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about this said person, right? And
Got it.
I just don't think they can accept the fact that maybe they were buying stuff, jewelry, that wasn't what they thought. A lot of it was
Hmm.
sterling, and it was sold as sterling, but it was XRF tested at like 31%.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's just really watered down.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of it, most of it was sterling, but it's a total of like 23 or 28. I forget the exact number, to like whatever, a good amount of money. And
Hmm.
the buyer sent the money in advance, so they kind of goofed up, but they had been doing a few other transactions, so he felt comfortable.
Right.
He felt comfortable. Whoops. And that's kind of a where I'm at. And
Hmm.
the problem is I do, and I am concerned for this community, but I hate to put myself out there like that and have someone wonder, well, who the hell are you? Why are you contacting me? And I've got nothing to prove to you, which is kind of how our conversation started. And I just said, look, I got one side of the story. Just give me your side of the story and I can go about my business. I said, I'm nobody in this community. I don't know you just the same as you don't know me. I said, you're putting a bunch of stuff on the internet that is written in ink. And I'm just wondering what's the actual story. So then he
Right.
gave his side of the story, and that's what it was. He was trying to contact this person, got ghosted a couple times, and I think what it comes down to is that the person was selling stuff that they thought was actually real, unknowingly, didn't know. But then when it's time to send the money back, maybe you don't have the money no more, and you're just left in a bind, and try and reach out to somebody that you might know in the community to try and help you out.
There's I can see all sides of this story, right? I
Yeah,
can play devil's advocate as well, because on the one hand, being the buyer that's buying product that's not the product that you wanted, especially in this world, in this realm, you get burned. Chances are you're not just getting burned for $30. You're getting burned for a lot of money, especially if you're like buying a big package, a big order, something like that.
right.
And once you get burned once, that puts your threshold. Yeah, we're going to look at that package in a minute. But that puts your threshold really, really low. So that means from there on out, any hint, any like sentiment that something's not right, your guard's up, your wall's up. And if you've not dealt with the person or just barely started to deal with the person, you're going to be quick to call them out for whatever they are or don't even
Sure,
realize that they're doing.
sure, sure.
So on the defense or on the defense of this one guy, the seller, if he didn't know that he was receiving these products from somewhere else and then reselling them as authentic or as higher purity than they really were, you know, kind of like that sucks for you. But on the
Yeah.
same note, you're in this space, you're dealing like that. You got to be willing to make up for it. So that means, buy it back, clear your
Yep.
name, admit
Yep.
that it was a mistake. But from the buyer's perspective, if they are seeing that the other person is making that effort, clearly they weren't being malicious. It
Sure.
was it was an error. It was a mistake.
Mhm.
So give them the
Mhm.
grace. And I think that's the one piece that's missing is people don't often give enough grace to people who are honestly just making a mistake and trying to make up for it.
Right. Right. Um And you see it. You do see it a lot of times with jewelry. That stuff will be stamped 925, and it's not. It's
Right.
not. Especially if you're, if you're cruising around garage sales and stuff, and somebody's selling their grandma's old jewelry. That doesn't, just because it's there and it's stamped 925 doesn't mean it's real. Doesn't mean there's no silver in it. But definitely after you bought it, guaranteed for something very, very cheap, have it tested before you think you're going to go flip it to your buddies or something and you're selling them junk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've seen all kinds of scams. I remember first time I got burned big. It was back when John and I were in business, DOA.
Yep.
And we were, I tell you what, I was making purchases left and right. And that was like kind of my part-time job was acquisition. I was just buying up stuff. And so every now and then I would actually get really good deals. Well, there was one of these too good to be true deals that popped up on Facebook. And it was just some guy, he was, posting a whole bunch of rolls of Eagles, and they were priced just over spot. And I'm talking pennies over spot. And at the time, it wasn't unbelievable because Eagles were like maybe running $2 to $3 over spot. They weren't like $11 over spot like they were recently. But I was like, okay, so if this guy's trying to offload, he's trying to offload quick. Let me get this deal. And I was talking to John about it, and John was like, I mean, if you think it's good, go for it. And when I tried to send the Cash App sent me a notification saying, caution, this is a known scam account. And I'm like, oh, that's not right. So I messaged the guy and I was like, dude, Cash App is telling me something weird here. And he calls me on the phone and I'm like, okay, if the guy's getting on the phone with me, he's got to be legit. So he gave me a different account. He said, okay, this is my partner's account. Go ahead and send it to this guy and it'll be fine. So I did. Sure enough, the guy ghosted like within an hour of me sending the payment.
Damn it.
Yeah. And so I think the total was like $1,500 there. That sucked, man. That hurts. And what I'm saying is when you're running on those razor thin margins, as most people in the precious metal space do, 5% here, 3% there, especially on bulk orders and things like that. $1,500, that's a loss. That is like a total loss because not only are you losing the money, but then you don't have the product to go back and sell. So you're out. You're out that money big time.
You're out that money big time. You got to come back. You got to figure out how to, number one, get more product with less money, and then build that money back somehow.
Yeah, and that could take a while, especially if you're not moving a whole lot. That could take you 2-3 weeks just to recoup.
Yeah, because if you're talking a percentage of, you're trying to get maybe 10%, but not always get it. It's I mean, you're talking a while.
Yeah,
a while.
You lose $1,500 on a 10% margin, and that's big, right? 10% margin. You're talking what, $10,000 or $15,000 that you've got to sell just to recoup that $1,500. It's crazy. So anyway, that brought our wall up, and we were much more careful with how we buy and who we deal with, which narrows the pool of who you can even buy from. And that kind of sucks for the new guy, because if there's a new guy that's trying to get his name out there, a lot of people aren't even going to deal with you.
And that's just right. And the type of program you guys were running was, we can get you this stuff lower than anybody else. And that's tough to do if you have to go and buy from online bullion dealers. You're buying it for the same price everybody else is and trying to get a little more out of it at that point. But then you're like, it's like, I don't need to get it from here. So that's where trust comes in from buying peer to peer. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah. Have you personally been scammed before?
Not as far as, and actually it all worked out in the long run, but not as far as buying something being ghosted. I've never had that done before. I have bought 10 ounces of silver from somebody, and it was sent to my house. And when it got to my house, the package was open and there was nothing in it. There was the business card of the legit seller, business card was in there. The package was clearly cut open and the silver was taken out and then taped back up and, just sent that way. Nothing in replace. Realistically, I should be out, right? The package was delivered. The guy put the stuff in the package. I can't blame him for for doing that part, the
Right.
United States Postal Service took what was in there. The guy was really, really cool. Couldn't find me what I had bought because it wasn't just a 10-ounce silver bar. It was 10 1-ounce 45 rounds. You've seen them,
Yeah.
you know. And that, realistically, that's about the size of like a big Rapala fishing lure box. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So something
So
like this.
yeah, yeah. It was in a chintzy package, which I kind of gave him shit for that. Just like, dude, like you can't be sending 10 ounces of silver in this little manila envelope thing. Like that doesn't fly. But the
Right.
guy was really, really cool. Couldn't find those anymore because he was going to find them and send me them again. Couldn't find them. Actually refunded my money, which was $365 or something at the time.
Yeah, that
Whatever
sounds
I
right.
paid, they were like 36 or 35.50 an ounce or something like that. Refunded me the money. Everything was all set and clear. But again, I could have been left high and dry, but wasn't.
Yeah. And I've had situations like that before where we send stuff out and it goes missing, or I've had packages sent to me that go missing. And in all those cases, it has worked out okay. Obviously, it sucks when you are the shipper, if you're the
Yeah.
seller,
Yeah.
because you lose twice. You lose the product and you have to pay the guy back.
Right.
So,
Right.
but on the receiving end of it, like for instance, one time, and here's a testimony to that package you're about to open up from Sean D'Souza. There was a time, and again, I think I mentioned this before, that's how he earned my business for good. Is there was a time when I had ordered 4 10th-ounce gold pieces along with the rest of my order, and only 3 of them were in the package. And I swear I tore that package to pieces looking for it, couldn't find it
Right.
anywhere. And I told him, without question, he didn't dig. He was just like, no problems, no worries. I'll send it to you right away. And he did. Like next day it was in the mail. So I
Because of
mean
what
that
he mentioned, today, he was actually supposed to be a guest. We were bringing him back on as a guest today.
mhm,
So possibly next week. Didn't work out. He records and takes pictures of everything. So maybe he went back to the footage and said, well, shit, I did only send him 3.
yeah,
He does all the extra measures just to cover his ass. So something like that does happen to somebody that's new buying from him, said, hey, I bought 4 of these and there's only 3. He can send them a video that says, look, I put 4 right in there. I don't
yep,
see how it's any more clear than that. Right.
yep. Which is crazy because you imagine how many packages go
Oh,
out
I know.
from
I
his
know.
business in a week's time. That's a lot
Just
of time and
just
dedication to put into
in
that.
and I don't even wanna bring it up, but just in the little circle that we're in, right? I'm not gonna
Yep.
say when, where, and how, but just the little circle we're in, like, that's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Props to him. And it always comes packaged very nicely.
Hey, show us what you got, man. Let's get into it.
All right. You keep talking. So this is how it comes. It's nice and thick. I got scissors here.
Do you remember what you ordered?
I mean, maybe.
It's always like a surprise for me when I get a package from him. I'm like, I have no idea what's in here. So like we open it up, my wife and I, we open it up together, and we're like, ooh, this is cool. I don't remember that. It's
I
so funny.
never
That's
I never open up anything in front of her unless it's something special that I want to show her. But other than that, she just eh.
it's the
What's the big
perks of
deal?
having short-term memory losses. I don't remember what I order, so it's always a
Aha.
surprise. It's fantastic.
Okay. Everything's just stuck. Anything else? No.
That's how he does it. Super packed.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. So here's this. Pew, pew.
Oh, oh, they're in. Fantastic, man. So you got what, the black and gold?
Yeah, so it's the antique. It's not black and gold. It's just like the original. It's just the antique with that gold gild on it.
And did it come with the box?
Yeah, so that's got to be
Did.
packaged
Okay.
here.
All right.
Okay. And then I don't know what these are. It's actually not a lot of stuff. There's more stuff that should be coming. It just must not be in. Yeah, so
Right on.
okay, these are these Dragon Privy. All right. So one's a Dragon Privy. This guy.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if that's
And that's
coming.
what? Perth mint?
Yeah, Perth Mint.
Okay. Year of the Dragon, 2024.
And then these guys.
All right. Black Flag series. That's
Ooh, it's a ship. Also Perth Mint.
all right.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Unless there's
Tuvalu, right?
yeah. Yeah, both of them should be. No, this other one's Australia. Year of the Dragon. So that one has got the dragon privy on it. I don't know if you saw that.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I
That
don't
is-
have anything new coming in. Oh, I have this sucker is going up for sale.
Oh, damn.
That kilo. Just for reference, this is a half ouncer.
Shoot.
Yeah. So that kilo's up for grabs.
That's
Everybody wants it. Hit
huge.
me up, man. Hit me up.
All right.
But
What's that?
let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah. Let's go. 5. What is that? 5 ounces? I thought you said it's 4 ounces.
It's 4 ounces plus one extra squeezed in. It's actually just over 5 ounces. But I'm gonna reveal the back of it. It's unfinished as of yet, but I'm gonna clean that up, and then we're gonna do some stamping on the back of that when we're ready to give it away. 3 ways to win, guys. Number 1 way is you get on www.cruciblelive.com, sign up for the mailing list. Second way is on Instagram. Go to @the Crucible Podcast, one word. Third way is through YouTube. You go to our exclusive channel, and that's going to be @the Crucible Podcast. 3 ways to win. You get entered. You get 3 chances.
Well, you got 1 way to win, and that's make sure you get entered. But you can have 3 entries.
3 chances. That's correct. There you go.
I tell you what, they keep coming in too.
They do.
Yeah.
The numbers are going up.
Slowly but surely, the numbers are going up. I like it.
Going the right direction, man. All
right,
right, Paulie.
See. Yeah.
What do you got?
I think that's it. I think that's it.
We're gonna keep it short tonight.
Yeah. Watch out for scammers.
Definitely
watch out for the scammers.
And tune in next week for Sean D'Souza.
Tune in next week. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Night, everybody.